Hi, and welcome to another episode of Turning Point UK presents the Esther Krakue Show. Today I'm here with Ben Jenkins, a former Labour activist and a working class Welshman. He came out in the last general election supporting the Conservatives, and since then he has been a victim of a wave of abuse from Corbyn-led and very left-wing extreme Labour supporters. So today I'm just going to ask him some questions about his experience and his political journey, and just to see, how things are going on now.
I feel like I'm smiling too much for this.
I never see you smile, actually.
All right.
You tend to have like a very
dour demeanour. I got told that.
Yeah, but thank you for coming, Ben.
No, thanks. Thank you for having me. Are we allowed to shake hands? Is that polite?
I'm a hugger, so I'd usually give you a hug, but YouTube doesn't need to see that. Okay. Exactly. So tell me a bit more about your sort of political journey. How did you sort of move from being quite a very left-wing guy to sort of supporting the Tories?
Retrospectively looked at it and concluded I wasn't actually that left-wing. It's just if you get involved in politics where I come from and you come out for the Tories, you end up going through what I've been through in the last month, which now I understand why nobody really does that. But the Labour Party is sort of the dominant political force, or historically has been. They lost a lot of seats in 2019. But
it was glorious.
Yes, it was a good day. They deserved it. But we'll get to that bit. And the Labour Party was essentially built in places like Wales and places like Scotland and the north of England. All those places where they just lost loads of seats. Those people built the Labour Party. And what we're witnessing is them unbuilding it. And the reason they're unbuilding it, to lead back to my first comment in regards to your question, is because those people socially have always been small c conservative.
Yeah.
It's on things like economic and international and national policy that they tended towards the Labour Party, and that was as a direct consequence of dealing with mine owners mainly, and as we all know, there aren't mines really anymore, and so the raison d'etre of the Labour Party has sort of gone away, and those voters, there's been a recidivism going on for decades really. And what we witnessed with Brexit was those people finally saying, you know what, I'm not loyal, I'm not sticking by this anymore. Because it was sort of, imagine if people moved into your house, squatted in your house, and would your solution be, well, I'm moving out? If it was your house and you owned it?
No, there might be a fair bit of grievous bodily harm. Right. But let's not talk about
that. So the working class, with their attitude towards the Labour Party, and specifically towards the Islington set, the Emily Thornberrys, the Keir Starmers, and that lot, their response to that was to say, well, no, this is our party. We're not going anywhere. What we're witnessing now is...
But then they voted for the Conservatives.
Those people just going, all right, fine. You can have the Labour Party rebuilt. Good luck with it.
So, I mean, it doesn't sound like you've had much of a sort of political ideological shift, if that makes sense. I mean, what is it about it that maybe, not necessarily the Tories, but about conservatism that do you necessarily identify with now?
I got beaten up the other day for whistling Rule Britannia in the street. Now, the Tories don't endorse things like that, whereas the Labour Party do. And I was raised by my grandfather.
Is that explicitly or implicitly?
Both. Like the underlying tone of everything. The Union Jack was banned from the last Labour conference.
Okay.
Yes, it was banned. And working class white people were charged more than BAME people for attending that conference.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of strange.
Yeah, that's a bit uncomfortable.
It sounds kind of racist, but hey, it's not for me to say. I'm a privileged white man.
Oh, I could never. I don't want to be a race trait or anything.
And nobody really cared what he said, really. But there was one quote about something about content of character, not colour of skin.
He just threw it out there. Yeah.
I'm not sure who he was, but I'm pretty sure he used to be a hero of the left. Whereas now, if Dr. Martin Luther King said that, he would be pilloried as a fascist.
Well, it'd be like, no, it's about what you identify as. Yes, but let's not go there. So, I mean, you've kind of touched on, how a lot of working class people, especially in Wales, kind of moved to the Conservatives because they actually said the Labour Party doesn't really represent us.
Yes.
So do you think there's sort of, I guess, a kind of resurgence of, I guess, nationalist pride?
See, nationalist, there's so many connotations and there's so much
And is that a bad thing?
No, I wouldn't say it is, but there's so many connotations to the word. I don't think so much that they're nationalists. They just like Britain. They like the British Isles, all of them, with all of the people that happen to be on them. They like it as it is, and they like the way it has become. They like the structures it has. They like the freedoms they have. And what we've seen since about 1997 onwards is with things like 90-day detention, the restrictions on freedom of speech, the fact that certain people are allowed to say things about certain other people, but if those certain other people say anything back, those certain other people will be the ones who get arrested, not the ones who said the things in the first place, which is an inherently unfair thing. Because as brutal as Anglo-Saxon law, which is the law that underpins it all, can be, it is quite fair because it protects individuals, it protects property owners, it has habeas corpus as a cornerstone, and people appreciate that. What the Labour Party did and have done is they've completely misjudged the voter base that built their party, because those people love Britain and the Labour Party hates Britain. And so...
I mean, what has been your experience personally since coming out against...
Coming out as Tory?
Coming out as a Tory, dun.
No, I know, right? Since I came out of the closet.
I don't really want to say Tory, because I think the Tory party has...
Yeah, I think, I saw, it's
as well.
people like you guys, right? It was maintaining the falseness of it, right?
Yeah.
So, what happened to... For example, Candace Owens, what happened to Dave Rubin, what happened to Miley Yiannopoulos.
Have you kind of experienced that sort of similar?
No, I wouldn't go so far as that yet. I mean, there's still time. But there's I certainly, Mayor Tusi, you know, right, so he's been threatened outside the Iranian embassy. Now, I would rather deal with some drunken Welsh nationalists punching me in the head and me not being able to hit them back, because I know I'll get arrested if I do. I'd rather deal with that, because I can ride those punches for an hour and a half. Even though I get fat lips and lumps on the back of my head and stuff.
An hour and a half, no.
Yeah. With my disabled sister watching from a bus stop.
Absolutely not.
Ringing the police and nobody turning up. Whereas in my younger days, I used to get in a bit of a trouble in exactly this town that I was in. And within 5 minutes of me starting trouble, there was a meat wagon there. And I was inside it. So, like, the difference in the...
I don't get it. Who looks at you and just thinks, I'm going to beat him up? Like...
Other Welsh people.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, communists? Communists really hate me, and also the voter bases. All of the voter bases that Jeremy Corbyn and the movement that he represents have been pitching towards. They all. I am like an enemy of theirs now. I was overwhelmed by it a little bit, because I thought they knew me, right? I thought they knew I was going to do this. Loads of them have been calling me a Tory plant for 3 years. Ever since the referendum, basically, and so I thought they would expect it, but I got the threats of violence and the death threats were one order of things, and then I was out in a Welsh town, and I was whistling Rule Britannia because I was very happy.
You weren't even singing; you were whistling.
Whistling it, yeah. And I look, when I go out drinking, I come from a military front. My grandfather flew 36
Are you sure you were only
missions.
whispering it then if you were drinking?
Whistling, not whispering. Whistling it very loud.
Okay, but if you were drinking?
Yes. I mean, obviously, it could be seen as a provocation.
I'll let you guys judge that.
Yeah, look, it could be seen as a provocation, but is it really a provocation?
Because I don't always remember what I do when I'm drunk, so...
But is it a provocation to
whistle? Yeah, definitely, no, they're
whistle,
scumbags.
your own national anthem in your own country? I don't think it really is. And so they started shouting at me in Gymraeg that I was a traitor, and so I started explaining to them in Welsh that I really wasn't, and that they were in fact the traitors, because they're Welsh nationalists. They colluded with the Nazis during World War II, and then I told them that my grandfather...
You did not say that.
They did. They did collude with the Nazis during World War II.
No, but did you say that to them while you were drunk? Oh my goodness.
Well, of course. They did, because most Welsh
nationalists... Yeah, but you don't say that when there's like a night out by yourself.
See, no, that's wrong. Absolutely you do, because the current generation of Welsh nationalists, and Scottish nationalists for that matter, aren't aware that the Welsh and Scottish nationalists... No,
I don't disagree with you.
They did collude with the Nazis.
It's probably not the best time when you're by yourself drunk in the middle of a town.
No, I disagree, because this was one of the only times in the last 6 months that I've been confronted with actual bona fide Welsh nationalists. So it's precisely the time to tell them.
I would have probably just scampered off.
Well,
but that's me. I'm small and I like my face very much.
They got to call me a fascist, which is a false thing to say. And given that I spent 5 years wiping the arse of a man who flew 36 bombing missions over Nazi Germany against real fascists, I take umbrage with people who are part of a political movement that colluded with the fascists, having the temerity to call me a fascist.
To be fair, I think they probably don't know very much about their own history.
No, they don't. That's the point.
But that's a conversation for another day.
And you'll find that right across the left. They don't know any of this stuff. They don't know, for example...
But they identify as people that do.
They do. They identify as educated people. Unfortunately, they do. And unfortunately, they've got social studies degrees that back them up on that fact. Gosh. So who are we to say?
We're not even going to talk about that. But I wanted to ask you why you came to Turning Point. Why did you come to Turning Point with the realization?
I know you guys are, right? I know you were. I knew how you'd been slandered. I'd seen the way you'd been treated in American campuses. I watched it happening for years in the UK. I didn't do anything about it. I probably should have. I probably could have. But I didn't, because I wanted to retain my position where I was on the left. And I knew that coming to you guys, what is the word you lot use? Trigger. I knew it
Trigger.
Right, I knew it would trigger them the most. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the other options were Sargon of Akkad. Who else could I have gone to? I suppose I could have gone to Mayor Tusi. Maybe I would have tried that guy. We Got a Problem. People like that.
Yeah.
But you guys have got infrastructure. You guys have got a digital footprint. You guys get more traffic than the Young Conservatives. You get more traffic than the Tory party some weeks on Facebook. Why would I go to any of them?
Yeah.
Because if I wanted to have an impact, I mean, I knew this looking at across the divide. Like, I knew where I needed to go. If I really wanted to screw over the people who were really starting to annoy me, because there's only so many times you can make excuses for people who are committing outright treason against your country.
So this is what I wanted to ask you. What exactly did you want to achieve with, not only coming to us, but exposing your undercover research, basically, and kind of
I just tried to suppress the word carnage, but because that's a very strong word. But for the communists and the left and the far left.
But what do you want people to get out of it? What did you want to...
I wanted to realise that this is a serious fight, right? This is not, even though they've just been smashed down to 203 MPs, the intellectual infrastructure that they have been building has been being built for the last 5 to 6 decades. They have decamped into and infected all of our educational institutions, most of our media institutions, quite a deal of our political institutions. And all of this stuff, whether it be Brexit, whether it be the opposition to Brexit, and then the people voting, people like me, going, fine, if you're not going to accept this, I'm going to support this Tory guy who does accept it, in the teeth of all of the reasons why maybe I shouldn't. Okay. It's a sign that they aren't going to stop. They will resort to violence when they fail. They will continue to infect generation after generation after generation of British students going into our finest educational establishments with errant nonsense. That's a bit
of a stretch, finest education.
Some of our finest educational establishments. Because, one of the biggest things that really set it out for me was, I think in the top 200 universities in the world, Britain and the USA, that is to say, English-speaking countries, dominate that top 200. And there's like a handful from the continent. There's the Sorbonne in Paris. And then after that, it's like, well, what? There's 27 of them. And that's the best they can do with regards to education. Yeah. So I found the notion that these countries who've had their democracies deleted and re-established twice in the last 100 years, sometimes 5 times in the last 200 years, who've been completely overrun by countries, often liberated by us in a coalition of our Commonwealth and nations. For them to turn around and behave the way they have towards us in the last 3 years, I'm done with Europe. Yeah. Like next time they need a bailout, they can ask China, right? Next time we've been supporting the euro, which is a currency we do not use. The strength of sterling has been supporting the euro since the euro was launched.
So I just wanted to ask, the traditional Labour voters in southern Wales and northeast of England that did make the treacherous move to Tory, how do you think they can get their party back? What do you think? They're
not going to. It's over.
Dun, dun, dun.
No,
okay,
seriously.
Let's be a bit more realistic.
All right, you need a longer answer than that so that you can turn it into a video. All right. Sorry, I'm not playing the game here. The Professor.
What do you mean they're not going to? The Labour Party isn't going to vanish.
The Labour Party is going to end up like the Whigs and the Lib Dems.
I mean, they're still the
Liberals,
opposition.
sorry. They might be for a while, but they will. This decline's not going to arrest.
You think there's no way Labour will
You think those Leave voters are going to come back to vote for Keir bloody Starmer?
I mean, he might not get it.
He won't get it because it's going to be rigged from the inside, and we spoke about that in the previous video. Go watch YouTube and
I'm loving
Facebook.
this cautious optimism.
It's not cautious. The Labour Party, barring a radical change, which they love those words, but I mean barring a radical change and a return to... Look, Michael Foot probably would have won that election. That's where we're at.
That's frightening.
Michael Foot was a patriot. He was a British patriot. He loved Britain. He just loved the way he saw Britain, which was a socialist Britain. What you've got to understand is they've dropped the Britain part.
Just a socialist.
It's just socialism now, right?
Yeah.
So it's not British socialism. There's no love of Britain in any of this. So whilst that's the case, and it will continue to be the case,
you think none of sort of the momentum side of the party are just going to keep,
Electorally speaking, they are dead as a party of government for the next 2 to 3 electoral cycles, barring some absolutely catastrophic error of judgment on the part of the Tory party, which is the longest living, surviving political party in the whole of democratic history. Just can't see it happening. Labour are done. They are dead. I don't care about the Labour Party anymore. Right? I care about the educational institutes that produced these momentum activists.
Okay.
I care about the educational establishment that produced these Labour activists. I care about the political and legal and social establishment, specifically in this city, London, that we're in right now, that produced Emily Thornberry and Keir Starmer and all of them. That's what we need to fix now, is because the Labour Party's never going to get it. It's not going to be in government for the next at least 2 generations.
Wow, that's
at least 2 general elections. Okay. And if they carry on the path they're on, I won't even correct myself. Yes, if they keep doing this, it's going to be 50 years till they get back in government.
Okay.
What are they going to do? How are they going to win me back?
Yeah, how? Yeah,
right,
yeah, that's the thing.
And all those 92 seats, Labour seats in the north, right, voted Leave. They lost 61 of them. They're going to lose the next ones at the next election because Labour's response to all of this has been to say, all right, fine.
I mean, Jeremy Corbyn is still leader of the Labour Party. This is what I don't understand.
No.
How are we in 2020 and the guy that handed the party the worst defeat since 1935 is still the leader of it's just mind-boggling.
Do you remember when Vladimir Putin decided he didn't want to be president of Russia anymore? So he let his friend Medvedev become president. And then he was like, I want to be president. And
they just switch roles. For me, it's just so funny.
This is the Labour Party doing that, essentially. Right, it's because that's how in control of the
I thought you meant the Labour Party are doing this.
No, right. No.
I just looked at it, I was like, the Labour Party are doing this. We will carry on.
This is how the Labour Party are doing what Vladimir Putin did there. Jeremy Corbyn is going to sit on the egg until it produces a hatchling that looks as much like him as it possibly can.
That is a frightening thought.
No, we're watching that happen. And it's not frightening. You should, as a right-winger, you should be totally in agreement with that.
I know, but, I also want the best for this country, and no decent democracy can function without a solid opposition.
Yeah, we've got the wets in the Tory party. There we go. That'll do for now. Right, there's still
you heard it from him first.
There's
guys.
loads of Remainers.
The wets of the Tory party will
are the opposition.
My goodness.
As they ever were. Theresa May was the opposition while she was Prime Minister. She was literally opposing Brexit.
I feel like you're just trying to offend everyone.
I'm not.
Let's be diplomatic a little bit.
No, the time for diplomacy is over, right?
Speaking of which, since you have such strong opinions, what do you think of this whole Meghan and Harry thing?
I don't know, man. I think...
Oh, are you kidding?
Look,
you have such strong opinions.
I think James Hewitt's son should be left to his own devices. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Is that... have you not seen pictures of those two people side by side?
Can we have them arrested?
Have you not seen the pictures of them side by
this
side?
Is one of the
Are
bloopers.
You serious?
Can they be one of the bloopers?
Hang on, do I seriously have to talk about him as if he's look, in the olden days, we used to give them the suffix "fits," right?
Please stop.
So that they knew that they were an obvious bastard child. If you think I'm going to pander to Harry and Meghan Markle's pivoting and open trying to curry the woke vote, which is what they're doing.
There was no woke vote in Britain that has
But you know what I mean? That's what they're doing. They need to get off their Instagram page. Harry needs to sign back up for another tour of duty. He needs to pop some sprogs out of his wife, and he needs to shut up. He's the spare. What? He isn't the heir.
Did you just?
He's not supposed to talk, right? Those are the rules, right? I'm the second son.
Well, you can imagine how that's frustrating though. If you're just literally there to.
Oh, it must be so frustrating to be a royal who isn't allowed to talk. It's the best of all worlds. You get all of the privilege and none of the responsibility. He should have ridden that donkey.
I don't know. Grave. I mean, I'm really torn with this one.
Why?
I don't know. I'm torn on the Harry side, not so much the Meghan, because I feel like I have less sympathy for you once you hit 30 and you have enough life experience to know that if you're coming into an institution like that, you really should expect a lot. And I get it, like it's not been easy for her. I don't think the press has been racist, by the way, but I understand like when you come from Hollywood and everyone has a big ego that doesn't really match their talent, I can understand how that's a bit of an adjustment to basically smile and wave.
I think they should get marriage counselling off Ricky Gervais.
I think so too. I think that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be a great solution.
I think they should just go into a marriage counselling.
And every time Meghan spoke, she'd just like, shut up, Meg.
No, he wouldn't be like, shut up, Meghan. We just put the clip of him speaking at the Oscars back to the beginning so she can watch it from the beginning again because she clearly hasn't understood.
Yeah, I don't know how she did. I don't know how she married into like the royal family because she's a really staunch feminist. And like Twitter's been going crazy, like don't marry a feminist.
Of all the patriarchies you could join, right?
It's not even just that. It's like you are, this is my thing. Even though I know they're in love and they're married and they have a kid. You're a prince. You're literally, you couldn't get higher on the totem pole. That you are easily one of the most desirable men, period. Yeah. You're a bloody prince. Why, of all the women that could possibly fit into this family and do the duties and, you know, be the second coming of Kate Middleton, why would you choose 36-year-old American divorcee / actress? Like how? How does that even make sense?
The two words, mummy issues, man. Like she's.
I don't know. I don't even want to like just put it down to that because it's more complicated.
That relationship is mummy issues. I'm a man, right? I've dated older women. I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh. We will continue this
exclusive, right? I identify as
I feel like every guy I know has dated older women. I think it's like a mommy issue thing.
Like, so I was 26 and she was 38, right? So she's Brazilian. They age differently. Right, they do. What do you
mean she's Brazilian? They age differently.
Brazilian women retain. I'm not talking about this on camera. I mean, this is going to kill me, right? You make me talk about my ex-girlfriend. You aren't making me, but that's the answer to your question. Can I answer a different question?
No, please.
Look, I'll tell you what. Harry could have had it worse, right? He could have ended up with Prince Andrew, right? It could have been
with Prince Andrew, like
yeah, it could have been.
Married to his
Meghan
uncle.
Markle could have had it worse. She could have ended up with Prince Andrew.
She would not have ended
up. And your thing, you said that he's a prince. Like loads of women want to marry him. If I was Prince Andrew's defense attorney, that's what I would have told him to say. I'm a prince. Do you know how many women throw themselves at me?
The 100th in line.
Of course, I don't remember.
Prince
who these
Andrew
people
is
are.
as relevant as becoming the next heir as like Bono.
Oh no! Look, if there's a terrible helicopter crash, I'm really sorry to break this to you, but if they're all on a trip together on a family day out, statistically unlikely nowadays, given Harry and Meghan's decisions. But if that happens, then yeah, you know, that could happen.
I mean, yeah, that would.
We've ended up with worse.
King Andrew. I think that would literally be the end of it.
We've ended up with worse, right? That's how. Look, the monarchy is it's a hybridization of the old Anglo-Saxon thing of the Witan would choose the war leader, merged into the Romanized Britain thing of where you'd have a Pendragon, a head king, a king of all the other princes, which is why Arthur Pendragon was called Arthur Pendragon. It is. I think it works brilliantly because we have a head of state that's outside of politics. Usually, when they're not on Instagram, whinging about how woke they are.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's just she just has too much of like a track record. Do you know what I mean? Because we're so convinced that the royal family is meant to be sort of out of politics, but you have someone who's coming into the royal family that's so clearly political, right? Has had a political, and I'm not saying she shouldn't have aired her political views, but it's just how can you divorce that from, you know, the fact that she can be.
Oh, they could divorce her if they wanted.
No, divorce that. They could.
And that could happen. She's this could all be applied. The royals are very clever. They rebranded themselves during World War I.
What did you call Harry again?
James Hewitt's son.
Yeah, we're gonna end that there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming.
Great,
This has been fantastic.
Definitely not getting on the BBC now, eh?
Neither am I for asking you these questions.